We're out here today playtesting the Fila Mondo Forzas. Come check it out.
The first thing I noticed about this Fila shoe is it's not as wide as the other Fila shoes on the market or ones that we've play tested. It's actually pretty snug medium, which fit my feet really well. In terms of length, my feet are at the edge of this shoe, but not enough to go up a half size. I do prefer a snugger fit when I'm wearing my tennis shoes nice and tight, so it works out for me. And then another noticeable thing is that there is a large arch support in this shoe. We don't see a ton of arch support in a lot of other tennis shoes. So for me, I have the highest arch on the playtest team. It was a welcome surprise. This shoe also has that wood piece in the midsole, so it does feel responsive and a bit firm, but never uncomfortable, but also not super plush. I had to take a few wears to get used to the sounds of the outsole of this shoe. It is a bit of a different pattern. It kind of sounded like I was playing with a clay court shoe on a hard court, but after about a week or so, I got used to it. Unfortunately, the durability for me is not holding up that great. I'm seeing some solid smoothing underfoot. So I love this shoe more for a coaching situation or when I wasn't moving too aggressively. And then if I was wearing it for the rest of the day, it's super stylish. It looks great on.
Like Michelle mentioned, these Fila shoes have a little bit of a narrower fit than maybe the Axelis and the Speed Serve. And for me, with my wider feet, those two options are actually a better fit for me. I definitely did have a break-in period with these. I took a couple of hours on the court for me to feel a little bit more comfortable. Initially, I really could feel that arch support. I do have low arches to flat feet, so I could really feel that arch support. But after a couple of hours, I really didn't notice it quite as much. I can always feel it, but it wasn't painful. The shoes for me were a little bit narrow through the toe box and into the midfoot, and there were times when I actually had them laced up and you could see that it was flaring a little bit, so I had them loosened up as much as I possibly could. As I was moving on the court, initially I also didn't have that last eyelet cinched up, so I ended up relacing them so I could get a little bit more heel support. My foot was popping out a little bit as I was walking and running around the court. As far as traction goes, Michelle also mentioned that these are a little bit scratchy sounding. Someone had mentioned they sound a little bit like a DJ scratching on those records, and I did find that to wear off after 5 or 6 hours. I did find that they were a good traction level for me. However, I never felt like I was slipping or sliding unexpectedly and could take off as I needed on the court. Overall, these shoes were a little bit narrow for me, and I find that the Fila Axelis Energize is a better fit for my feet.
I was really intrigued to see these Mondo Forzas at my desk because I had seen them on some pro players before, and when I slipped the shoes on my feet, I was really pleasantly surprised to see the width and the length to be perfect for my narrow foot. I am the narrowest foot on the playtest, and so there wasn't a lot of extra room, which was perfect for me. However, like the other playtesters mentioned, and I have to agree with a lot of what they said, that arch support was sitting a little bit far back for me, and it was a little bit high, so I was definitely right at the beginning feeling that arch, and it was making my arch sore as well as my underfoot sore, and unfortunately for me that continued for the rest of the play test. When it came to cushioning, I thought the cushioning underfoot was much more supportive and firm, but there was some nice cushioning around the tongue as well as the heel and ankle. Like Tiff mentioned, I did also use that extra eyelet to get a more locked in feel because my heels were slipping, and with that extra cushioning I was getting a little bit of rubbing as it was kind of eating my sock. But once I used that extra eyelet and wore a little bit higher sock, that rubbing went away. As far as everything else is concerned, the support and stability, my ankles were very happy after a long play test. I thought that traction was also a little bit squeaky, a little bit scratchy, and for me it went away in about 3 hours, and I thought that the traction was a great blend of give and grip, so I had no issues there. Lastly, when it came to weight, I thought this was about an average weight shoe. It didn't feel super light on my feet, but I also didn't feel like it was clunky or I was slow moving in it. Overall, for me, the shoe just didn't quite fit my feet, but I really appreciated the unique styling. We're now gonna toss it over to our East Coast location to see what our playtester thought. Jofi, how did you like the Fila Mondo Forzas?
Thanks, Brittany. When I first looked at the shoes, I thought Fila did an awesome job with making them look very minimalist, kind of a sleek, cool design. And generally speaking, I prefer shoes that are more on the lightweight side that allow me to feel more connected to the court as well. And these were right in my wheelhouse when it comes to that, so I was super excited to take them on court and check them out. Actually, I do have flat feet, and the arch supports on these shoes were a bit too aggressive for me, and it was a bit of a pain point for me during the play test. So I would say for players who have kind of flat feet like me or require a bit lower arch support, like I'm looking for usually in a shoe, then this might be something to keep in mind. When it comes to overall performance, these shoes look and feel super speedy, pretty lightweight, so they do kind of make you want to slide on the court, but unfortunately the upper didn't provide me with enough support to do that. To help this situation and to get a bit more support out of the shoes, I did tighten up the laces a bit more and also utilized a second eyelet. And as I was doing that, I actually ended up breaking the lacing system, which, you know, I might just be very unlucky that this happened to me. But actually when I used the second eyelet, I did get a bit more support out of the shoes, so that was super helpful. Other than this issue with the upper, I didn't see too much wear on the outsole. Plus, I thought that the 6 months durability warranty for the outsole is a really attractive feature of the shoe. All in all, I think Fila is moving in the right direction with this minimalist, sleek design. And if you're a player who prefers that and also a lightweight performance shoe with a 6-month durability warranty, give this one a go. Thanks for watching. For more information on the shoe or any others, please go check out Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.